What is going on, everyone? My name is Jesse Morrison. I'm with Knotted Hooks, the fishing channel, and today we're going to go over a really simple, easy way to tie up your custom setup for the mooching rig style fishing for attaching herring and anchovies. Let's just jump into it. Boom. Okay, what I have here is some Dacron. I have some fishing leader I use for going out sturgeon fishing, and then I think this is like a 6 or 7/0 hook. It's just for illustration purposes. These are larger than what I would normally do. I'd normally run a 2/0 or a 3/0 for this system, and usually about 30-pound fluorocarbon. So here we go. So what I do, this is your trailer hook, as they call it. I come through the eye this way, and basically this is what they call a tag end. This is the end that just comes towards the bottom, and you just keep it parallel with the shaft. As you can see, it's so simple, very easy so far. I'm sure you all are following. So what I do is, I'm kind of superstitious, so I normally wrap it either in 7 wraps or 13. Today we're just going to do 7 to keep it easy. So what I do is I go around the eye and keep on the shaft. And what you want to do is, you don't want to overlap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how they're all going in order down the shaft? None of them are overlapped. It's nice and neat, nice and clean. And here's your tag end. It's still running parallel with the shaft of the hook. And here's this end. What I normally do is I will grab the end that I cut. It's a small piece here, so I just make it easier, and I will run it through the behind the eye, up through, back forward. And I only have usually a small piece, like 3 or 4 inches. I don't pull it all the way through, make it tight, because it'll make it harder when you have another hook on there. It'll want to get caught up. It's just easier just to have it like this. Now what I will do is I will trade hands. I'm grabbing this, what I just wrapped, plus this guy here, and I am now continuing where I left off on my wraps, and kind of going over this one. Here's your loop, just to make it easier. You're now grabbing this and you're continuing down the shaft, and I only usually do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you switch hands again, and now you pull this tight like so. And then I usually take this tag end, and sometimes I'll grab a pliers. I just like to know everything's tight and cinch it nice and tight. So see on the end how it kind of came through those 4 wraps? All of a sudden this is coming through. So this keeps it tight, and when you add those 4 wraps, it locks it all in. So when you pull it this way, and then you pull opposite forces the other way, it slides it up, locks it. So when a fish is on there and it's tight, it's kind of going through this bumper, so to speak, of other line. So now you can cut part of this tag end off and kind of clean it up if you want, but this is your trailer hook. So we're going to repeat the same thing up the line a little ways, but I want to show you what it looks like when you have another hook on. Now, I like tying these myself. You can go and get your own package at the store, but they're preset for the distance the hooks are. I like to do this because all my herring are different sizes. They're mostly, all universal, not universal. They're all uniform in size normally in a package. So I can look at the herring or anchovy and go, okay, the tail is right about here. I like this hook to be right at the tail, very end, and then the other hook goes up to that angle piece that you cut up top. And I'm going to show you how to rig it up once I'm done, and you can kind of get the idea for length. All right, so now we're going to attach the second hook. As you can see here, they're facing the same direction. I just put the line through the eye, and here we go. The distance is based upon your bait. So I don't have a set rule for the separation between both hooks. I differentiate based upon the bait I'm using. I'm going to be using some green label herring. I like about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, something like that, roughly, on distance between hook tip to hook tip. So here we go. I am going to pick this up. Now we're going to treat the end right here that goes to the first hook like a tag end. Just like you did on the first one, consider this to be your tag. So it's really easy. We're just going to hold on to the shaft, hold on to the line, and then now we're going to start wrapping. Let's do another 7 around the shaft. Make it nice and neat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here's your tag end attached to their hook. There's your wrap. And just like the first one, we are going to put this back through the eye, going away from the hook. And just like the first one, I'm going to leave a small tag line, because now you have a hook here, and when you're doing the wraps, it can get tangled if it's too tight. So I want to leave as much room as possible. So now the tricky part is grabbing onto this and this, and then you run the top along your shaft here and your tag line together, as you can see that, and then you grab the one that was wrapping and you just wrap it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, people. And then you hold on to this because it wants to come unjumbled. I usually grab some pliers or something, and then I pull this rest of the way through. And I pull both of them nice and tight. And sometimes I'll even kind of make sure this is nice and tight up the shaft. You want it to be nice and clean, nice and tight. Really a yard on that. And now you have both rigs tied very nice on the same line, done the exact same way. Both steps are exactly the same. It gets a little tougher when you have a trailing hook on there, but you'll get the hang of it. Do it a couple times. You will mess up, and that's okay, but when you're done, you've learned something new, and that's super cool. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to rig this sucker up, and if you look at my last video, it's gonna be down here, up around somewhere. Click on that, check it out on how to brine herring for spring chinook or coho or whatever. My favorite brine recipe. It's fire. You guys are gonna love it. You're actually gonna see what it looks like coming out. I had it in baking for 2 days in my fridge, basically. Yeah, I'm gonna cut them up and show you guys how I rig them up. Let's go. All right, so I have my herring that I already did up my brine. Like I said, go check out that video. Cool thing is now you get to see what they look like. All right, check these bad boys out. Oh, yeah. Oh, I get excited. I know it's stupid, it's just bait, but that is so beautiful. Now, sometimes if you leave it in too long, and I didn't mention this in my previous video, they call it brine bite, they will wrinkle. That's because everything's getting tight, kind of pulled together. I had a couple of them because they're smaller, so they cured faster. I wanted to show you. See how it's got some wrinkles to it? And it's kind of like that. They're fine. Some people are really picky and they don't like them. They won't fish with them. They're fine. I've caught just as many fish with some that are brine bit in any way. So I just want to show you an example. If you leave it in too long, I recommend 1 to 2 days, and then pull them out. Get yourself some of these trays. They're at the dollar store. You can get a whole, I think it's like a 6-pack of these for $1.50 or something. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you an example. If you have fatter or bigger fish, there is differences. Like I said, If it's smaller, it's gonna brine faster. Anyways, here we go. So we have our fish here. This is basically a little pre-jigged cutting board. What I do is I will put the belly against me right here. And you wanna have a sharp, thin knife. You don't wanna have anything that's like, I'm gonna cut this and just, yeah, here we go. Because you're going to basically just, it's not gonna be a clean cut. And as soon as the current hits it, or if you're trolling or whatever's going on, all these little tiny bones and skin and everything, it'll just bloom out as soon as it hits the water. And your bait, like I said, it'll go down, and the little shrimp will be eating it, and you're not fishing, and that's not fun. So I put their belly against the way I want to cut, and I usually slide up to where the fin is right here. And what I'll do is you just follow the guide. So a little bit more in there. Follow the guide, and normally I just kind of give it a little cut to start, and I go through fast. Pull that out nicely. I mean, you can see the scales. That's how sharp of a cut it is right there. Here's what the finished product looks like. See how it has a slight bevel to it? And I kind of wanted to show this too. Here's like a little cut plug type style, same thing as this. And you can see how it's emulating that. See that surface area? How you kind of have it kind of goes out. It's not just a clean, you know, cut 45 or whatever degree that is. It carries out, and you can see it with the way this thing is here. Now, some guys take the guts out, some guys don't. I personally do it, and I'll tell you why. I'll kind of go in there, just give it a once over, clean the cavity out, pull the guts out like this, because before I rig it, I go kind of where the anal cavity is, and I will basically, if I can get it, poke a little hole. That way when water goes through here, it has a little place for it to exit. Now it's not, you know, massive where it's just the water's going to flow freely. It just gives it a little bit of space for it to move. Makes your bait last longer. It's a cool trick. I really like it. Okay. So hooking these up, like I said, your first hook is the trailer hook. Now you want to be very careful how you go through here. Here's the fish, and this is just a beautiful fish. I kind of wish I would have done a worse looking fish, so that I'm going to ruin this anyways. But here we go. You come through the low side. So this is considered the high side, and this is the low side. I come through about the width of the hook right here, somewhere in the middle. I come through, and you very gently coming through, and then you just pull, kind of put your thumb there to keep it from tearing. Pull that through. That's not that bad. It's not that bad. And see how the hook landed right about where the tail fin is? That's almost perfectly placed. And then with this hook, I usually come in right where the spine is, and then come right out like this. And now you're fishing. As you can see, I could have actually made this just slightly a bit longer, but when this thing is spinning, that back trailer hook's just kind of hanging out, and when it comes in to eat, and then you pull on it, this right here, if its mouth's right here, it will slide up, boom! Now it's in its mouth. That's why you have a trailer hook to it. If they come in for the big bite, it's game over. They got both hooks in their mouth. So, you can experiment a little bit with this, but make sure you're getting most of the spine, because this is what is going through the water. This thing, the more streamlined you can get it while it's spinning, the better it is. So always put your bait in the water, and always, always, always check it. Just don't assume it's good and throw all your stuff down. You want to let your stuff down gently anyways, for multiple reasons, especially when you have weights attached. So it doesn't get tangled. And I'll cover that in a different video when I'm out in the water. But for this, check it out. Make sure the spin is just tight. Nice tight spin. Perfect action in the water. And you already did all the brining tips and whatnot. But here you go. This thing is ready to rock and roll. Go out there and fish. And I will get some video from the Columbia River, spring Chinook. And hope to see you guys out there. Hey, if you like this video, you found it informative, Please hit the like button and subscribe to my videos. If you want, check out some of my other videos I did on brining this bad boy, and more videos to come. All right, fish on, everybody. Dude, fucking hook. I did it again. Let's dive into it. Let me do it again. Illustrate it more. So stupid. Hi everybody. You have a hook and a... We have a hook and a string.